Revenge films.
My family had their own business. Our house/office was bigger than average. Up until college, we'd lived there with my grandparents. I went out of the state for college, but I came back a couple of times a year. I got a job not so far away from home, but I was always busy, so I rented a small place near my company. I barely got to spend time with my family. The other day, I finally got some time to go see them. I haven't been back in 3 years. Everyone in the neighborhood knew my family. My grandparents knew a lot of people. I got on the bus and headed home. Everyone used to recognize me on the bus and stuff when I was a kid, but nobody said anything to me that day. I stared out the window waiting for my stop. Then this lady in her 50s came into the bus. There were several seats open in the back. But she stood in front of me for some reason. A little later, this young woman, probably in her 20s, came on the bus. At that point, the bus was pretty crowded. Some people were standing. The lady standing in front of me started looking for open seats. She was probably getting tired. I thought about giving her my seat, but then I noticed that there was this young woman with a maternity mark. At a glance, it was hard to tell. She was probably a few months pregnant. I wanted to give her my seat. But if I got up, this lady was going to take my seat for sure. So I got up, put my bag on my seat, and walked over to the young woman. "Hey, I'm getting off soon. You can have my seat." She looked surprised at first, but she smiled and thanked me. I moved my bag and she sat down. I was standing next to the old lady, but then she started yelling at me.
Hold on! Why didn't you give me your seat? I'm much older than her. You blind? What's wrong with you?
We didn't know what to say to her. Then the pregnant lady tried to get up. "It's okay, just stay in your seat." But the lady kept yelling at me.
What's your problem, huh? Wait a minute. You're that girl from the Johnson family.
She was probably a friend of my grandmother. I can't believe she recognized me. When I said yes, she smiled and said to me,
You should be ashamed of yourself. Your parents raised you better than this. And what are you doing here? You don't have a job?
She just kept talking non-stop. I didn't even know what to say to her. The pregnant lady looked uncomfortable. I felt bad for her because none of this was her fault. I pointed at her maternity mark and said, Did you notice? See that? You know what that is." She looked at her bag, but she scoffed at me.
She's not pregnant. Look at her stomach. It's flat. You're so gullible. And you're single. What do you know about babies?
What's that got to do with anything? Jerk. So what if her stomach isn't showing yet? She's still pregnant. And the chances of miscarriage are higher in the earlier stages of pregnancy. Don't you know that? So why would I give you my seat instead of her? What happens when the bus has to come to a sudden stop? You ever think about that, huh? Her face started to turn red.
Shut up! You've never had kids before. I have. Stop talking to me like that. You don't even know how to talk to your elders? No wonder you're unemployed.
She started screaming. Some of her neighbors were on the bus too, so she was probably embarrassed. Fine. If I get you a seat, will you settle down? I asked a nearby girl if she could give up her seat. She had a lot of stuff with her, but she got up and told the lady she could have her seat. All she had was a small shoulder bag. She didn't know what to do.
don't want your seat.
Then she hit the stop button and tried to get off. On her way out, I said to her, I may be single, but I have a job. I'm a doctor. I'm a gynecologist, so yeah. I know what I'm talking about. She didn't have anything to say to me. She ran off the bus and left. The pregnant woman thanked me. Thank you so much. Don't mention it. You just rest now, okay? Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Then I apologized to everyone on the bus. Sorry you had to see that. But everyone started clapping at me.
You're awesome! You showed her!
They praised me for my actions. But the next day, I got called out by my grandmother. It was probably that old lady. I went into her room then.
You went too far!
Our family owned a temple. Our upbringing was very strict.
You did the right thing, but you went too far.
She was mad at the way I handled things. When she finished, Grandpa walked into the room with some snacks. My favorite! They were cookies from this nearby bakery.
Come on, honey, she understands. Hey, these are for you. The owner of the bakery says thank you.
Huh? Why? Turns out the woman I helped was the baker's daughter. It was their first grandchild. She was back home living with her parents. That day, she was on her way back home from the hospital. So she was walking around all day long, so she was pretty tired. So she was really happy when I gave her my seat. I'm glad I could be of help. And I don't think it was that old lady that told my grandparents about what happened. It was probably that pregnant lady. Grandma was still mad though. Oh well. A few days later, the pregnant woman and her mother came over to the temple to thank us in person. They even brought us a little gift. I was so glad that I could help. Oh, and as for that old lady, Grandma told me she ran into her in the city, but she ran off without saying a word. I guess she learned her lesson.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.